Florida was a quiet town, the kind of place where people trusted their neighbors and believed in the goodness of others. No one was more respected than Mayor Daniel Carter. He led town meetings, cut ribbons at fairs, and spoke at every school event. He was a devoted husband to Emily and a proud father to Jake, Emma, and Luke. But that perfect life hid a secret darker than anyone could imagine. It all began with a simple school assignment. Jake, their 12-year-old son, was to take a DNA test to learn about his ancestry. A few weeks later, the envelope arrived. Jake tore it open at the kitchen table and frowned at the report. He flipped the page, then looked up at his mother. "Mom," he said, voice shaking, "you need to see this." Emily's heart sank as she read the words. No genetic match to listed father. Jake's eyes filled with tears. Emily hugged him and promised to make sense of it. That night, after the kids were in bed, Daniel saw the DNA reports on the kitchen counter. He stared at them like they were poison. "What does this mean?" he demanded. Emily's voice trembled as she spoke 3 words that shattered his world. "It's Mark Davis." Mark Davis, Daniel's best friend since childhood, his campaign manager, the man the kids called Uncle Mark. The next day, Daniel refused to go to City Hall. He paced the house in a daze. He barely ate. Neighbors heard shouting behind closed doors. Emily begged for calm. Daniel only asked again and again, "Why didn't you tell me? Why did you betray me?" Emily wept, but offered no excuse. The truth was too painful for words. A week later, Daniel thought he'd found a fix. He convinced Emily to retest Jake, Emma, and Luke, just to be sure. When the second set of results came in, the outcome was the same. None of their 3 children shared a drop of Daniel's DNA. 0. Not one. His heart broke a little more each time he read the report. 2 weeks after the first test, Emily simply vanished. Her car sat in the driveway. Her phone and purse were gone. Daniel told police she'd driven to visit her sister in Georgia, but her sister said Emily never arrived. Days passed before anyone admitted she was truly missing. Daniel insisted he loved her and prayed she'd come back, but no one believed he didn't know more. Late one night, neighbors spotted Daniel digging in the backyard under the pale streetlight. He wore gloves and carried a shovel. When they asked, he said he was planting new flower beds for spring, but his eyes looked wild, guilty. A week later, police got a search warrant. They tore up the fresh dirt behind the shed. There, wrapped in a faded blue tarp, lay Emily's body. A thin rope was knotted around her wrists. Her face was turned to the earth, silent forever. The coroner ruled strangulation. It was no accident. While processing the house, detectives found a small locked box in Emily's closet. Inside was a second phone labeled Getaway. Text messages on it proved Emily and Mark were planning to run away together, with the kids. "Tonight at midnight," one text read, "meet at the dock. We'll leave by boat." The plan sounded reckless. Why hide it? Why risk everything? Digging deeper, investigators uncovered another layer. Mark Davis had massive gambling debts, hundreds of thousands owed to dangerous men. Texts from Emily's phone threatened exposure. "Pay me or I'll post our messages online." He was blackmailing her for money. Their secret affair had become a twisted game of extortion. Just when it seemed like motive enough, a third twist emerged. Emily had been quietly collecting emails showing Daniel was having an affair of his own with Councilwoman Lisa Monroe. She planned to expose him live on the local news the same night she vanished. In one draft post, Emily wrote, "Daniel's lies end tonight. I have proof of his betrayal, too." A neighbor's doorbell camera provided another shock. The footage showed 2 figures dragging a heavy bundle from the Carter home just after midnight. The taller figure, broad shoulders and long gait, matched Mark's build. The shorter, more rigid form was undeniably Daniel. Together, they carried something to a waiting SUV. In court, the prosecutor laid out each piece of evidence one by one. The DNA test proved betrayal. The hidden phone proved escape plans. The blackmail text proved motive. The affair evidence proved Emily was a threat to both men, and the doorbell footage proved both men helped hide her body. Daniel claimed he killed Emily in a blind rage, alone. Mark insisted he only helped Daniel cover up a crime he didn't commit. During cross-examination, a final bombshell dropped. A blood-stained shirt found in Mark's lake house hadn't belonged to Emily or Daniel. It belonged to someone else entirely. Councilwoman Monroe. Forensic tests showed only Lisa's DNA on the shirt's cuff. In that moment, a new question hung in the courtroom. Had Lisa been there the night Emily died? Then came the flashback testimony. On the night of Emily's death, Daniel found Emily's getaway phone on the kitchen table. He dragged her upstairs to confront her. Mark followed, begging Daniel to calm down. Emily pleaded with both men. Daniel's hand squeezed her throat. Mark tried to pull Daniel away, but Daniel refused. As Emily lost consciousness, Mark's own anger flared. He grabbed a nearby lamp and struck Emily once, hard enough to leave a dent. Then both men panicked. They wrapped her in a tarp they'd used for a gardening project. Mark drove the SUV. Daniel guided them to a remote dirt road. There, they buried her under layers of clay and pine needles. Both men swore each other to silence. Just before sentencing, defense lawyers presented one last twist. Emily had written a confession and a plan for a new life. She intended to fake her own death, escape their debts, the affair scandal, and start fresh under a new identity. She'd sent the letter to a close friend as a backup, just in case. That letter painted Emily not as a victim, but as a mastermind of her own disappearance. The judge paused, reading Emily's words aloud. "If I vanish, I want the kids safe. Daniel and Mark will make a good life for them. Trust them." The courtroom fell silent. Was Emily alive somewhere, waiting to start over? Or had her plans spiraled into a deadly trap? In the end, Daniel was sentenced to life without parole for first-degree murder. Mark took a plea deal for manslaughter and obstruction. 20 years in prison. Councilwoman Monroe faced charges for lying to investigators and hindering justice, but she escaped prison with probation. Jake, Emma, and Luke now live with Emily's sister. They visit their father's locked house every other weekend, asking when mommy will come home. No one has an answer. In Florida, they say the sun never sets on betrayal. Two best friends, one perfect family, all destroyed by lies, debt, and a plan that went horribly wrong. Hit that like button and subscribe for more disturbing true crime stories.